like to apologise to our audience who regularly tune in to Downstream Dialogue. The episode that we filmed back in February with Gaby Mandell, the CEO of IWater, didn't fully go according to plan, although we do have some really sensational sound bites and pieces from that particular podcast. We apologise, the sound quality is not necessarily just as good as we really wanted it to be. We still believe this is a really great episode. There are some super things to listen to, and we will be filming Gaby again in the near future to follow up from the podcast that we did in February. We hope you enjoy this episode. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Downstream Dialogue, Stonbury's podcast, where we've been exploring everything from climate change to the challenges of the Cunliffe Report, through to the whole ecosystem that supports the amazing world of water and wastewater. Today, I am absolutely delighted to be joined by the Chief Executive Officer of IWater, the Institute for Water, Gaby Mandell. Gaby, welcome to the show. Delighted that you've joined us. We have been talking together for nearly 12 months about stuff that's happening in the world of water. But before we get into that, I think for me, last year you celebrated, or IWater celebrated, a most amazing birthday, which we were privileged at Stonbury to be involved with, particularly at Plymouth at your annual conference. Can you just explain to us a little bit about the Institute in terms of that 80 years and why that birthday was so special?
Thanks. Well, I'm delighted to be here. So thanks very much for inviting me. And thanks as well for being part of our anniversary and part of our history.
We loved it. Thanks for inviting us.
Brilliant. So it was really an important time for us to really look back, see the decades of development, and to see how we as an organization that is dedicated to developing people and helping them to grow have also, as an organization, continued to flex and develop and grow so that we can make sure that we're always helping our members to move forward and helping them to, in turn, move the sector forward. So we spent some time looking back, but we also spent time looking forward last year and tried not to let go of the actual moment as well. But to give you a little bit of background on the organization, we were founded by a man named Alan Bolton, who started out as a plumber and eventually ended up as a chief inspector. Yeah. And he found that when he entered the water sector, he didn't really have a place to go and exchange views, learn from other people. There was no professional body that really could offer him a home. So he created one. He persuaded a lot of other people that this was an important thing, and obviously they agreed. And as volunteers, they worked very hard and set up the Institute of Water. And over the years, we have become more and more inclusive so that today we are for anybody who works in the water sector, whatever their role. It's been really a wonderful year. We've engaged with our members. We've talked to people who have been members for a very long time and members who are brand new and gotten all sorts of different experiences from them. And one of the things that, looking at our membership over 80 years, and we've looked back at some of the archives and some of the photos, in the early photos, you don't see a whole lot of women, for example, and definitely
topic close to my heart.
Yes, well,
100%.
I think there was a woman in the first big photo, but she wasn't technically a member. She was brought in to support. So yeah, but if you look at our membership today, we look like a very different organization, and we have become more and more inclusive of everyone in the sector, whatever their role is in the sector, whatever stage of career they're at. And I think for me, that's one of the really special things about IWater.
To go downstream a little bit further, to pardon the pun for the Downstream Dialogue, but maybe just talk about your own career. I mean, I know you've a legal background, you've done a lot of volunteering work, but what's your background and what brought you to becoming the CEO of IWater? What's that journey?
All started when I saw the ad posted, and I thought, interesting, a professional body for people in water. As I said, I hadn't really thought a lot about water, but always knew it was important and interesting. The office was in Gateshead, and I am an adoptive Geordie, and I thought, oh, that sounds really interesting. And what was really a clincher was it specifically said the applicants do not need to have had a background in water. So I thought, oh, that's really interesting. The organization understands that there's, transferability of skills.
Yeah.
They're clearly interested in bringing in different perspectives, different people. So I applied. Of course, before I applied, I also spent some time on the website, got to know a little bit about the organization, and thought it sounded very, very interesting. My own experience with a professional body was really important. When I came to this country, I had sort of left behind my colleague and support system, a professional support system in Toronto. And so I didn't know very many people here.
Because you're from Toronto, aren't you?
I'm from Toronto. Yeah. Yep, born and bred.
But no native Geordie.
Adoptive. Yeah, I think the accent tends to give away that I'm not originally from Newcastle, but I do definitely consider myself a Geordie now. I joined a professional body not long after I arrived. Their material arrived on my desk, and I thought, oh, great idea. And I'm still a member today because it's so important that you have that opportunity to get yourself out of your day-to-day, to talk to your peers, to get to know some of the big trends, some of the big issues that are happening. Yeah. And so the idea of working for a professional body certainly appealed. Then I interviewed. I guess they saw something they liked in me in the application. I interviewed. And honestly, from that first interview, which was an online interview, I can tell you that the passion and the enthusiasm of the people from IWater about the organization, about the sector, about water it jumped off the screen. Yeah. So I was hooked. Yeah. I was hooked, and
3.5 years later, still here.
Yep.
I guess the question really is, what would you say? Why is this so attractive?
It's a really interesting sector to be in, and obviously, the attention that the water sector has been getting in the last few years has not been easy, and it's been really tough on the people in the sector.
Yeah, of course.
Who from my experience and everyone I've met, many people in the sector, these are people who work to do a great job. Yes. Yeah. And they struggle to reconcile what they hear with the reality of their day-to-day dedication. Yes. So I would say to somebody considering it, if they are worried about that, it's fair. It's fair for them to think about it, but they will find a home in the sector. They will find really passionate people who care about what they're doing, and they will find an enormous purpose. I mean, what could be more important as a purpose than providing safe drinking water and taking away wastewater in a way that helps public health, helps the environment, helps everyone? There's nothing really more important that you could think of. So people looking for meaning in what they do will find it in water. They also will find challenges. It hasn't been an easy few years, and we know that there's a lot of work to be done, and it's exciting. And there's a lot of change and a lot of momentum. And for people who relish a challenge, I think this couldn't be a more interesting time to join the sector. And what people also probably what they don't know that much about is the breadth of opportunity in our sector.
Yeah.
And I've often been told it's a sort of a silent sector. Nobody really knows. But now I think people know we exist. But
it's been a lot in the news about why we exist.
Yep. But they probably don't know about all the opportunities. They probably have an idea of what somebody who works in water looks like, with a high-vis jacket and a hard hat or working, which is great. And there are definitely people like that. But there's every role you could think of in our sector. Yes. So whatever you're interested in, you can find that in our sector. And I think what there also is mobility. And, we hear a lot about sort of squiggly careers today and people needing to have change and try different things and move to different companies. You can move around within the sector and find new challenges, new opportunities, and paths for progression. So I would say that it's wide open, and there are many, many positive reasons. And of course, a great reason to join the sector would be then you become eligible to join IWater. So,
and maybe we talk about membership then. I mean, I think you're right that there's so many different careers paths that you can take coming into water. 100% right about. I mean, why would you not want to work with life's essentials. I mean, it's 5 to 7 days without clean, fresh water. We're not going to be very, very well. And if we don't take the waste away, we've got all kinds of epidemics, all kinds of problems, whether that's cholera, dysentery and stuff like that. So it's an important sector. Should we just turn attention maybe a little bit around membership then of IWater and the benefits of joining IWater?
Right.
Which again, we can spend as much time as you wish to on that topic.
Oh, yeah. How long have you got again?
Right.
And I think it's interesting to think of it from many different perspectives, but you were just asking about sort of new entrants to the sector. And I think that's what a great opportunity to actually join a professional body right from the beginning that can help you to find your place and understand where you fit in when you're new to the sector, because there will be people coming in who are, they might be in their first job, they might be moving over from different sectors. There's lots of different options, and they'll need to find their place in the sector. And as I say, from my own personal and professional experience, and also talking to lots of our members at IWater, having that opportunity through an organization like IWater is really important to meet your peers who are doing the same sort of work that you're doing, but also to meet the many other people in the sector so that you can begin to understand that big jigsaw and your piece in it that helps to deliver high quality water and wastewater services. So I think that for new entrants, learning to navigate, learning their place, understanding the sector, beginning to build their professional network is hugely important. We also have within our general professional community, we have some specific affinity networks. We have a young professional network. So for anyone who is up to 35, this is an opportunity to really be with your age peers and who are at similar stages in their careers and understand what their experiences are, meet people, connect, meet with leaders, have educational learning opportunities. It will help ground you in the sector. We also have a women's network supporting women working in the sector. And we know that traditionally, there haven't been as many women in the sector. Mm-hmm. We know, we were talking about this earlier, there are a lot more now. We know as well that while the sector is getting better at attracting women, women are also leaving sector quite quickly. And we know that's an issue. So actually belonging to an organization where you have a kind of a support network is really important and will help people to feel like they belong, will help feel valued, and importantly, give them not just a peer network, but opportunities for professional growth and development.
Well, why do you think women are leaving the industry? What's driving that?
We know that women have traditionally been underrepresented, so we need to actively try to bring them in. If you want to recruit people who are underrepresented, you need to maybe look at different ways to recruit, different places to recruit. You need to look at how you're recruiting. For example, and this isn't just about women, it's about any kind of group that's underrepresented. Do you, when you put together a job ad, do you really need to ask for specific skills or length of experience in that, or actually are there transferable skills?
Well, to your point about your CEO ad, about you don't have to have experience in the water sector.
Exactly.
And you're 100% right. Why should you? You've got all that knowledge that you can bring, and it's new and it's fresh and it's different and it can be disruptive and it can engender future change, can't it?
And it's that diversity of thought that you get when you have a diverse group that is what you want. So I think all those things about how you can approach jobs, how you define jobs, how you think about what you need, but also creating, ultimately, you might get people through the door, but you need to then have the culture where people feel like they belong, feel that they want to stay, and then become ambassadors for the sector. And there are so many good efforts going on in lots of companies doing great things on, outreach and wonderful networks and development opportunities. And I think that's where organizations like IWater can help, because it's not something that one company can do on its own. I think bringing people outside of their day-to-day and giving them that broader professional support networks, professional community, opportunities for things like mentoring outside of their company, opportunities for professional registration, and opportunities for volunteering. I mean, there's often something that people forget, and that volunteering is a wonderful opportunity for the individual, it's a wonderful opportunity for an organization, but it is a vastly important development exercise. You learn so much from your volunteering, whatever your role might be, and you bring that into your day-to-day work, just as you bring your day-to-day knowledge and experience to your volunteering.
And a lot of your work at IWater is in volunteering, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you encourage a lot of young professionals to volunteer.
Professionals of all ages.
Of all ages.
Yes. We have a very small staff team here in
Yes.
most of us are here in near Gateshead.
Yes.
And we really have our blended workforce is made up primarily of volunteers. We have about close to 250 active volunteers across the country, and they operate our different areas. We have 8 different areas across the country, and it is they who run our events all over the country, whether they're webinars or in-person events. It's they who add that personal touch and really help to bring people in. They are mentors. They are registration assessors. That's when somebody actually applies to become professionally registered. You actually need assessors to go through the application.
We've probably got listeners out there that are interested in IWater, want to have a career. Is there a professional route?
Absolutely. So I would first of all start saying professional for me is a bit of it's an attitude and it's a state of being, and it's how we work. And it's not about necessarily whether we're volunteers or staff or, but the recognition of that professionalism is really important through professional registration. And IWater offers professional registration in 3 different disciplines, in environment, science, and engineering. And within each of those, we offer 3 grades of registration. So you start at technician level and go all the way to chartership. And that's through us. And we try to offer a very sort of a personalized, supportive service, really, so that our members can get the advice that they need and the support that they need as they go through their journey and figure out what is best for them at what point in their professional.
So, Gaby, is that a structured learning, development, and professional development
it
process?
Is more of a recognition. So, professional registration is more about recognizing the work that you've already achieved, and it'll be depending on where you are in your career and what your background is. But there can also be advice on where you need to fill some gaps and what kind of CPD activities you might want to undertake in order to fill those gaps. And I think one of the really fascinating things about registration is not just what it takes to get registered, but that when you become registered at any grade, you are making a commitment to continue with your continuing professional development. And we actually have a process, because we are licensed to offer professional registration. We have to do an audit every year, a sort of a random audit to make sure that people are doing this, which is, an audit can be a little bit difficult, but I think most important is the individual's commitment that they're always going to keep fresh. They're always going to be wanting to grow and learn and expand their horizons professionally.
How's IWater supporting the industry in terms of, you mentioned before about the challenges that this sector has today, and that's not the challenges that we see in the press on spills, pollution, and water quality and all those things. I'm thinking about, we talked earlier about £104 billion worth of expenditure in asset management period 8, and it's a number I can't comprehend. But how are IWater supporting the sector in terms of the challenges that spending that amount of money comes? The fact that we've got maybe a system or an infrastructure that was built for a different climate model than today, and a lot of it's still Victorian stuff, which was brilliant when it was built, but it's life expired. How do you support the sector when you've got all those challenges flying around?
So our number one priority is our members. So our direct relationship is with our members, but our indirect relationship is with the sector. So we try to make sure that we are offering relevant learning opportunities and networking opportunities so that we are helping to prepare people so that they understand the sector, they understand the big issues, they understand how we got here, how we work now, and what some of the issues are, and what are the issues to come. So a lot of that comes through our learning opportunities, our events, be they webinars or seminars, conferences, whatever they are. There's the mentoring as well. A lot of that will come through that, and we are helping to equip really our members so that they can actually go out, do their day jobs, be advocates for the sector. And so a lot of those ways that we help equip them is the sort of technical understanding, knowledge, but some of it is also about life skills.
Yes.
And well-being and resilience. So some of our learning opportunities are more about those sorts of life skills and help them to move that forward. So I would say our number one way of helping the sector move forward is by helping our members and equipping them to then push the sector forward. We're also involved in a number of different ways in sector-wide initiatives. And one of the big ones that we're involved with is around the skills gap, skills shortage. And it's because it's about people, and people is our wheelhouse. And,
we did say people buy from people. I know it's a cliche. People work with people learn from people, give to people. Yeah. We were just talking then about how IWater is supporting memberships from all aspects, and no matter what your age is, whether you're mid-career, late career, or early career. You were saying a little bit about how you're developing and supporting people from wherever you are in the industry to support the challenges of the industry.
And that's anyone in the sector. So that's whether you're brand new in the sector, whether you are a young professional, whether you are my age bracket.
My age bracket.
Whatever, and wherever you are in your career, because where you are in your age may not be the same as where you are in your career.
Of course,
and I think that is one of the really great things about the professional community that we have at IWater is, and it ties in with that non-hierarchical thing that we were talking about, that it's intergenerational. We have different perspectives. We work with retirees. We work with, young professionals and a whole lot of people who are in between.
Well, 5 generations in the workforce, they say at the moment.
Exactly. So all of them are here.
Yeah.
All of them are here.
Boomers to Zers and Xers and everyone else.
I've lost track of
I've lost track completely.
I
think I've covered those Zs, Xs, and Ys. I don't know the Y, but
exactly. So and I think that's a really interesting aspect that wherever I go to events, to IWater events, you just look around the room and you see that diversity of experience and age, and that really helps to make it a very rich conversation. And it doesn't matter where you are in, your stages of development. You still need to understand what's going on in the sector. Yeah. So, for example, last week, one of our areas held a webinar which was a debate about, the Cunliffe Review and so on, and how it's being perceived. And, that's relevant to everyone.
Yeah, of course,
everyone who's interested in water. So obviously, when you offer a whole menu of different events and services, not everything is going to be for everyone, but that's the point. You have a lot of options, and people can find their path, and they also get the support that they need to find what is best for them.
I suppose then that the point is that you're sharing, or you're encouraging people to share and to network and to create new ways of doing things. You're encouraging innovation as well, aren't you?
I'd like to think so.
I'd like to talk about innovation in a moment, but yeah.
Yes, we've talked about that before, and that would be not. I think one of the things that we're really interested in helping people to do is to be open-minded and to be creative.
Yeah.
To be innovative, not just in terms of technical innovation, because often when you hear the word innovation, you think
digital transformation.
Yes, digital transformation,
AI,
or
big data, whatever. Yeah,
all those, or a physical invention of some kind.
Yeah. Fuji
I think one of the things we always have to remember is innovation can be about people too, and how you work with people and how people can learn. And innovation can be simple little things. It can be about being innovative in your approach, being creative, being resourceful. And the other thing that we're really trying to encourage and help the companies in the sector to embed is a culture of lifelong learning for all roles.
Yes.
So lifelong learning, lifelong curiosity that makes you want to learn and to take those opportunities and grab them. And it can be as simple as how to have a conversation with your manager or with one of your colleagues about development, how to approach CPD. One thing that I particularly like at IWater is our approach to continuing professional development, or CPD, isn't about hours and points, which, not knocking it, that can be really important, but it's about the very individual journey and about reflection. So when we try to help people to get the most out of their CPD, we focus with them on thinking and reflecting on it. And that is what enables you to take what you've learned and actually apply it. Because if you don't take that time, how many times have you gone to a webinar or something and then, it's one of a million things and you don't really get the most out of it because you don't take the time to reflect and to log it. And actually getting people into that habit of logging their CPD is so good for getting them to take that time to reflect. But it is often something that probably falls by the wayside, but it's something that we strongly, strongly believe in because it does mean that you are getting so much more out of the experience and you're able to give so much back.
I think the reflection piece is really, really key, isn't it? We had on our show a few weeks ago, we had Emily Timmins.
Right.
So water recycling director at Anglian Water, previously at Severn Trent Water. And she was saying that, with what you're saying, backing that up, reflect, but also she was saying that she volunteered for all kinds of different jobs and experiences, no matter what the barriers were. She just chased them down and she did them. And she said that was the best tapestry for her. And her career is a tapestry, using her words, because she volunteered, because she got involved, because she put a hand up, because she said, yes, I'll do that. I'll try it. I'll test it.
And sometimes you just have to be brave.
Yeah.
And grab an opportunity. And it may not work, but you'll learn from that, even if it doesn't work. And so I think that learning from success and learning from failure, learning from problems, that's something so important for people, and it's part of the culture.
I kind of feel that the industry would benefit from more structured collaboration through, look, people got a viewpoint around international standards of whether they're good, they're bad or not, whether they're tick boxes, but certainly the ISO series 44,000 plus, which is around collaborative capabilities and skills and knowledge sharing and models and how to do it really effectively, has got a lot of merit, certainly in larger infrastructure, critical national infrastructure industry. I think the water sector would benefit from looking at some of that stuff.
They probably would. And for us, as working with our members, it starts with people talking to each other and being collaborative and being given the opportunities to do that. So I think it would be fascinating to think about what the opportunities would be for sector-wide.
So we'll plug that podcast for future of you listening. Then, if you're enjoying our podcast, then please, I only one thing I ever ask anybody is tick the little subscribe button to our podcast, download it, like it, and share it, and certainly listen to the Frank Lee CEO piece on collaborative business to business relationship working. Gaby, to accelerate a bit further rather than pushing ourselves downstream a bit more, which. Not happy.
You're really working that metaphor.
I wanted to get a little bit of view about some, not necessarily the other organisations that you work with and support, but the International Water Association. I know you're heavily involved with that. We've got the big conference coming up in Glasgow. And I think I might be wrong, but I'm sure there's volunteers doing some of the British or the UK pavilion. Is that something you're involved with?
Yeah, so actually, it's funny because you had just mentioned international, and I was about to perfect segue.
Oh, thank you.
The way the International Water Association is set up, where it is present in a country, it has a national organization that is a member, and IWater is the UK member for the International Water Association. So within our structure of our committees and so on, we have the IWA UK committee. And they are working very closely with the organizing committee for the Glasgow conference. In fact, I was just on a call this morning with the committee, and the chair of that committee sits on our board, on the IWater board. So there's a lot of connection there. And my own background, obviously, I have an international background, and I worked with an international charity previously, and I think having that opportunity, I mean, we've been talking about collaboration, and our membership, which is largely UK based, which, to begin with is a great start, but being able to actually look beyond borders and understand what's happening in other countries, and where do we share common issues, where are there different ideas that are coming out. That's the kind of thing that we can promote through our association with National Water Association, and bringing in that international perspective, giving people that opportunity, I think can be really important. And so, yes, the Congress is happening in October in Glasgow, and some of our young professional volunteers are actually helping with the UK Pavilion.
Oh, wow.
And putting that together. So,
I think we have got scheduled for a future podcast one or two of the folks from IWA as well.
Excellent.
To not only promote the Glasgow's obviously bid and been very fortunate to get that.
Yeah.
But from my point of view, being fairly old but new into the sector, is IWA, is that the platform for sharing international expertise about water and water recycling, wastewater, and new techniques? Is that the platform?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's there's probably many different networks that you can be part of, but I think it makes sense. That's the one dedicated to water.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that there's lots of opportunity, and they bring together a lot of academics as well. So they share a lot of research. There's exhibition at these congresses. There's activities year round, and I think is something that we're working on with our UK committee.
Well, so we're certainly looking forward to being involved with that event.
That'll be terrific. And I should also say that that there's a whole lead up. There's lots of events leading up to Glasgow. And it so happens that the last stop on the road to Glasgow is actually our annual conference.
Okay.
You were with us in Plymouth last year.
Yes.
This year is going to be in London in September, 17th and 18th. And the details
Sneak preview?
I couldn't possibly.
A little tiny peek.
It's going to be 2 fantastic days, headed up by our president, Sarah McMath,
yes.
Whom I know you know.
We know Sarah very well, yes. A future guest of the podcast.
Yes, absolutely. And Sarah has been a member for quite a long time, and one of the things she's really worked on is our EDI conferences and approach, and it'll be really terrific working with her on the conference here. So we'll look forward to seeing you in London and then in Glasgow.
We will certainly see you in London, certainly, and we're looking forward to. I mean, for anyone listening out otherwise, are tuning into our podcast. The Plymouth event was sensational. The lineup of speakers that you had, the passion, the energy, the collaboration, the opportunity to network was amazing. So, if I can give you a plug, then please come along to that conference. Particularly, is it open to non-members as well, or just members?
Absolutely.
I thought it was. There you go. So you've got a completely open opportunity. Come along to IWater's conference in September. I have no doubt it will be a brilliant event, Gaby.
All plugs. And very welcome. Thank you.
We were talking before around collaboration. Just one final question around that. You know, I'm passionate about collaboration, but who do you partner with? Who do you collaborate with as IWater to keep promoting the great work that you do?
It's a great question. You're right. We talk about collaboration a lot, and we want to model it as well, not just in how we bring people together, but how we also collaborate with other organizations. And as we were talking about before, a lot of the big things that we're talking about, they're not things that any one organization or one company can deal with. They need to be approached collaboratively and in a sector-wide, and often more than one sector approach.
Yeah.
So we are really happy to be working with a lot of other organizations in the sector. We work in partnership with British Water, Energy and Utility Skills, which partly in the sector, Future Water, SIWM, other organizations. We've worked with them on around the skills gap issue. We are partnering with them on multiple things. We work with our licensing bodies for, I mentioned our 3 disciplines for registration.
Yes,
we work with them as well. So I think doing that collaborative work on sector-wide issues or discipline-wide issues is essential. We also work with a number of nonprofits, not just from a fundraising point of view, but also helping to get our messages out there. So WaterAid, WaterWise, we talked about support groups before. You may know Women in Utilities Network.
Yes.
So a lot of connections there too. I think I was judging one of their awards last year, so doing that again. And Sarah is also quite involved in that. So I think that sort of involvement on many different initiatives is really crucial, because it's how we can help the sector more broadly. Working with our members, also working with other organizations who have their members, and where possible, bringing them together. So, for example, with International Women's Day, we had a sort of a collaborative event there.
Gaby, it's been sensational talking to you.
It's been lovely chatting with you, and it's been great we've been talking about lots of issues for a year now. So.
I know, and there's so much passion and so much energy that comes from you. I think that IWater is clearly richly. Rich, I guess you've enriched IWater's journey on that 80 years, and long may it continue. But maybe I ask you one more question, please. And I've asked all our guests on our podcast, Downstream Dialogue, what three pieces of advice would you give to anybody, no matter whether you're young for starter, mid-term career, end of career, three pieces of advice to grow and succeed as an individual, as a person?
That's a great question. And I would say that the biggest piece of advice is to stay curious, to continue learning, and join a professional body like IWater, because actually that will help you to stay curious and to keep learning and help build your belonging. Because ultimately, we want to stay somewhere where we feel we belong. And if we have a peer professional network, that combined with the opportunity for development and stretching yourself and growth, those are probably the most important things.
Again, massive thanks for Gaby Mandell, CEO at IWater, for joining us on this episode of Downstream Dialogue. We've been talking all about IWater, the benefits of membership, how IWater is supporting the wider sector and the challenges the sector faces, and what membership of this amazing institute, 81 years old now, this year, following the 80th birthday last year, can bring to anybody of any age group or any background. Come along, join us, find out what's going on, get involved. If you're interested to learn some more, then please go on instituteofwater.org.uk. If you're interested to find out more about Stonebury, then please www.stonebury.com. We've got amazing cases of some amazing projects that we've been doing to support the world of water, from potable clean water, service reservoir repairs, and maintenance works, to wastewater activities, creation of nature-based solutions and maintenance of nature-based solutions, and of course river restoration, reducing river pollution and supporting fish through fish rescue, fish passes and eel passes. Other than that, I shall look forward to my next guest. Thank you for joining us, and again, subscribe